Hello, Sneha.
Yeah, hi Pratulya.
Shall I admit everyone?
Yeah, you can start admitting everyone.
Okay.
ಇದು ನಾನು ಬಂದು ನೋಡಿದೆ.
Hello. Hello.
ಸೇರ್ಬೇಕಾಯ್ತು ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೆ
ನಡೆಯಲೇ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿ
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Hi, Sneha, you are audible.
Great. I hope everyone logged in can hear me. All right. Great. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Today's session is ideally concentrated on a pre-placement session. Before we kickstart the session, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Sneha, and I'm a part of the leadership team at Talorang. I come with more than 10 years of experience in hospitality, impact space, and edtech. I specialize in partnerships, sales, communication. It's been an integral part of at least my career journey. I have taken a lot of interviews, have mentored more than 1,000 undergrads and more than 500 young professionals. And with my experience today, I would like to also help you understand the importance of pre-placement, what are the various factors. And today we will be touch basing on three very important elements so that it helps you prepare for your placement season. All right. So, great. Once we are done with the introduction, let's kick start today's session. Now, the first thing what I want to explain about the pre-placement season is that is the phase where companies haven't met you yet, but they're already deciding who they want, right? They are looking for attitude, awareness, communication, ownership, learning abilities. So, degrees will definitely get you shortlisted, but readiness will get you selected. Okay. Now, in this pre placement phase, it is very important for you to reflect on clarity. What are the kind of roles that you would like to pick up, which are more aligned with your strengths? And then how you can have a perfect resume and some interview tips and tricks, which I'm also going to give you today so that you are more confident and more prepared for your placement season. Okay. Now, the first thing, couple of things I would request everyone is please keep your, mic on mute because there are a lot of people, a lot of students who've joined in. And for them to hear clearly, it's very important that everybody stays on mute. You can put in your queries, you can put in your questions in the chat box. That'll be the ideal way where I can also answer a couple of queries. Yeah, great. Let's kickstart the session. Now, the first thing I want to start before, also touch basing on your resume or interview is a concept of Ikigai. So, I want to ask all of you if you've heard about the term Ikigai. You can put a yes in the chat, or maybe you can show a thumbs up if you've heard about this concept of Ikigai. No, okay. What about the others? I think, yes, okay, that's great. You can put in your card. It's fine if you don't know it. I'm here to tell you, so it's fine. I would like more responses if you've heard about this term called Ikigai.
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿಲ್ಲ
Okay,
ನಾವು ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಬಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ
all right. Okay, so I'm taking it no. Okay. So, before I explain you, before I talk about resume and interviews, I also wanted to ask you something a little uncomfortable. How many of you are choosing a job? It sounds good, or it pays well, or your parents suggested it, or maybe everyone else is doing it. If any of the reason aligns, you can write a yes in the chat. How many of you are choosing a job because it sounds good, it pays well, your parents suggested it, or everyone else is doing it? If either of the point aligns, you can write a yes. Don't be shy, guys. I think this is the common mindset of a lot of students because since I've been in touch with so many students, I definitely know that it's there in everyone's mind. Maybe a friend is applying, so let's go there, or oh, it's paying good money, let's go there, or maybe my parents said, okay, so let's probably apply there. Yeah, so a lot of students definitely face that particular issue. Okay, now one thing that I want to explain you why this is that is not a career clarity. This is called career pressure. Okay. Now, the concept of Ikigai comes in. This is your reason to wake up in the morning. It's a Japanese concept. So, the Japanese basically believe there are four verticals that you need to fulfill in order to lead a fulfilling life or a fruitful life. Okay. So, for that, Pratulya, if we can also have a image of Ikigai sharing out here in for everybody so that they can also see. Great. So this is something what Ikigai looks like. So Japanese believe there are four verticals of your life. Okay. If these four verticals of life intersect, okay, it means that it means that you will live or lead a fulfilled life. Okay. So now the four verticals are what you love, what you're good at, what the need, and what you can get paid for. Okay? So it is basically the intersection of four things. What you love,
Excuse me, madam. Madam, you are not audible.
All right. Am I audible to everybody?
There is a disturbance, madam. Please, could you please tell them to mute?
I'll request the ones who have switched on their mic to please mute. There are a lot of people who've joined in. For them to hear clearly, it's very important for everybody to stay on mute. I'll expect this kind of little typical behavior from everybody because we have students joined in here and they are here for a limited time. We don't want to waste any time and we would want to start, right? So I expect everyone to please keep their mics on mute. If everyone keeps the mic on mute, you'll be able to hear me clearly. I still see there is somebody who has okay. Now, am I audible? If you can just give me a thumbs up, use an emoticon from your Zoom interface. If you can hear me clearly, please give me a thumbs up. Okay, great. Thank you. All right. So, getting back to the context, I was explaining Ikigai. This is the fourth section. That's what Japanese talked about. That if you can figure out what you love, if you can figure out what you're good at, if you also figure out what the world needs and then at the end what you can be paid for, that's where the right intersection of ikigai fits in. That's where you get a fulfilling job for you. It means waking up in the morning is more about energy, finding your passion and living for your passion rather than just for that job and feeling like a burden. Can I please request the one who has on them to please put it. I can still hear somebody. I'll not be able to take the session like this. The mic on, hear it. Great. Can you hear me now? All right. Coming back to the topic that we were talking about, Ikigai, right? Now most people only choose their career based on the salary, and that's when your burnout begins. Okay. So your Ikigai doesn't have to be one job title, it's a direction, it's a theme. And the whole purpose of Ikigai is that it says that the clarity reduces anxiety. When you know why you're choosing something, your interviews will stop feeling scary because that is something more aligned to your passion. So it's very important for you to figure out who you are, what are your strengths, what do you love doing. Okay. And by love doing there can be a lot of things. You may say that I love cooking, I love um playing outside, or I love watching movies. That's fine, that's very superficial. I would request you to dig in a bit deeper and look at what you actually love doing. Maybe you love helping somebody, maybe you are good at solving problems, or maybe you're good at repairing something at home, more on the technical and the soft skill aspect. Figure that out. Because once you know this is something you're good at as well, right? Now, what you're good at, I'm sure most of you would know your strengths. Maybe you're good at communication, maybe you're good at problem solving, maybe you're good at critical thinking. But now, to fill this section, it's very important for you to also take feedback. Maybe take feedback from your teachers. Maybe teacher would have told you that, so and so you did really well on this front. Reflect back on that memory. All right. Maybe take feedback from your peers. Peers means your classmates. All right. That what do you think I'm good at? All right. So list down those things. It's important for you to list down those things and look at the alignment. If you can look at the alignment, that's when you figure out, you start your research work with respect to what the world needs. Okay, do the research. There are various verticals the world can need. All right, and then when you figure out that the last vertical is Look at the roles. What are the things you can be paid for, which is more aligned to your strength and your passion? Maybe you're passionate about community service, or maybe you're passionate about working in an NGO, right? Or maybe you're passionate about working in tech industry, or maybe you're passionate about working in medical. You want to help people. Link it in that way. That's the outer context what I want to give. All right. So before preparing for your resume or interviews, please reflect back. Once you have a clarity, I'm telling you, your interviews will be a cakewalk. You will be more confident about talking about yourself. I feel if you cannot talk about yourself, nobody else can do it. So it's very important to figure out who you are as a person, right? So that step will take you a little bit closer to your dream job. Okay. Now, with this, I'm going to come to the next segment, which are called resumes. All right. I'm sure most of you would have prepared your resumes. If I can ask quickly out here that if everyone out here, they have their resume ready, can you give me a yes or a no? Have you worked on your resume? Do you have a resume? Yes or a no, if you can put it in the chat. Also, I'll request the participants to stop scribbling on the screen, not write while doing in between the session. You are disturbing the other participants. Great. So I have only one person who writes, I have a resume. I got 99 participants out here. I'm still asking if people have their resume. You can write a yes or a no. Okay. A lot of no's coming in. Okay. Okay. So one fact I want to tell you is that the recruiter takes 30 seconds to scan through your resume. If the recruiter finds something interesting, they will shortlist and call you for the interview. If not, just too bad for you. So you need to make sure in those 30 seconds, you are able to create that first right impression by the resume. And for that, there are various vertical that plays into a picture. Okay, I'm sure you can Google it and find out there are various resume templates. Some will be colorful, some will have your photo. There are also some resume templates which will have your image. I want to tell one thing very clear. The recruiter is not interested in seeing how you look. So please do not add your picture. It's actually not a good impression for most of the companies. So they are really not interested to see how you look. They are more interested how skilled you are or what sort of experience. So no point putting the picture. If they want to see you, they'll call you for the interview. That's the whole concept. So there are in a resume templates which has got this small profile picture. Please don't do that. Your resume should be black and white, and it should not be more than one page. Okay, especially for a fresher. I come with more than 10 years of experience, and my resume does not exceed more than 1.5 page. Nobody's got the time to read lengthy resumes. You need to understand we are living in a very digitally active world. People have got less attention span now. So you need to also understand that the shorter the better, crisper the better. To the point.
यार छोटा
quicker.
पाए
Yeah. So that is something you need to do. Pratulya, can we show the sample resume so
वो
that
नेटवर्क फाइल
can you please put your mic on mute, the one who is unmuted here? Okay.
visible?
Right. Great. So this is how a standard resume looks like. Okay. So this resume is an American resume. Okay. It's not an Indian resume. But I wanted to give you the framework, how this looks like. Okay. So the Indian resume if you notice, the only difference would be instead of fall, we'll have months written. Okay. So what you can do is, if you can please expand it, can you magnify it, Pratulya? Great. So the only difference in this is that the Indian resume will have months specified rather than summer and fall. Okay. Your resume should have your header, the name, okay, and then it should have your address, your phone number also, and your email ID. These days, the resume are also hyperlinked with their LinkedIn profile. Very important. If you have a LinkedIn profile, please hyperlink it. Okay. You can start with your education. What are you presently doing? And if you are a postgraduate, you do that and then you talk about your graduation. If you're a graduate, please do that. And then you can talk about your 12th, where you basically graduated from your 12th standard. Okay. Then comes the work experience. Now, for somebody who has 1 or 2 years of work experience, you can mention that. But let's say if you've done internships, very important, please highlight it, internships. That is what the recruiter is more interested to see. If you have any real world exposure, great, your college is doing a fabulous job in order to give you academic theoretical knowledge. That is very important. How do you apply this theoretical knowledge outside? That is also something you need to know. And now the scenario is very different. Everybody does internship. That's where you get an idea. They're not asking you to learn how the company works. Every company has got a different ideology and different work structure, but they want to see the skills which are relevant to what you're studying. Do you even understand how to apply in the real world? Because real world is not like your coursework or academic project. There will be spontaneous problems and you would need to solve that. Do you have that exposure? Can you take pressure? Can you take challenge? Can you actually perform under pressure? Because that's what the real work world is. So these are the things they are trying to see from your resume. They are trying to grasp from your resume. They are definitely looking at intelligence, all right, which is, I'm sure, your marks talk about, your degree talk about. But now the other skills like team, leadership, how well do you work with people? Very important. Your college is a safe space because you know everybody out there. Your teachers are there to help you. Outside, it's not that. Outside, it's going to be brutal. You have to pick up skills. You need to stand a little different in order to deal. You need to interact with people. People coming from different society, different ideology, different mindset. How do you collaborate with them and work? And now there is no option that you will be working alone, even if it is a tech role. You will always work with people, right? I'm sure you've heard about human is a social animal, right? So that's what is applicable at a workplace. So how well do you collaborate? How well do you lead a team? How well? Because outside it's about productivity. So here in work experience, especially for freshers, please add your internship experience. My suggestion is in your 3 years of degree or 4 years of degree, please look at doing minimum 3 to 4 internships, mandatory, right? That will give you a lot of clarity because that's what the competition is currently. Okay. So once you have done this, this is how you can explain. All right. So you can talk about what was the company, which month you did. Generally, internships are from 1 to 2 months, 2 up to 3 months as well. But minimum 2 months is required. Okay. You can put, and then you can list them in 3 bullet points, not more than 3 to 4. Make sure they're not very lengthy bullet points because that will catch up your space. And then again, your resume becomes two-pager. Make it short and crisp. Please use action verbs. Action verbs like developed, analyze, led. Start your bullet points with action verbs. Okay. Show that you were able to lead something, you did something valuable in that internship. Okay. Even if it was analyzing a data, even if it was inputting a data, please do that. Okay. Similarly, you can list your 2, 3 internship experience. Go down. Pratulya, if you can go down. Then comes your activity. Okay. Now, there are a couple of questions which students have asked me that if you can also put a coursework. Yes, you can put your coursework, but please do not put all your coursework. Something which you really did well, I would like that you highlight that, right? Something you can passionately talk about and something you did a good research work on. Please talk about that. If you did at least 3 courses, please do not put all 3. Okay. So, this is something that you can keep in mind while I'll request the one who has switched on their mic to please switch off their mic. Okay. Now, getting back to the resume. So, you can have an internship section. Post that, you can also add your coursework. You can also add coursework below your education section. That is also something you can do. That's optional. Then come activities. Now, activities again is a very important section which recruiters like to see. It means beyond academics in your college, what have you done? That is something which recruiters these days are really keen to find out because that's when you develop your competency skills, your problem solving, your critical thinking. That is something you have taken an initiative. It's a fact, but yes, in academics, you will by force do it because you need to graduate, you need to get a degree. But in the social segment or the activity segment, it's not mandatory for you. You do it out of your own interest, out of your own passion. That is something which recruiter is also keen to see. Sorry for that. So, very important on that front. Okay. So, make sure you have participated in clubs like you would be having marketing club or a finance club or an entrepreneurship club, things like that. So, maybe you were a volunteer or you were holding an event. That kind of exposure is also important to write. Post that, what you can add is instead of supplemental skills and interest, this section can be modified into tools, technical skills, soft skills. If you're good at Python, if you're good at Excel, please put that. These skills are very important in at workplace. If you're good in making presentation, please put that. If you know any other AI tool or technical tool, please don't put chat GPT. That's not the right thing to put. That's probably a way where people just find an easy way to do it. So yes, some tool which actually add productivity. So please put that. And side by side, you can also add your soft skills. Like if you're good at communication, teamwork, customer handling, or let's say problem solving, things like that, you can add that. Okay. So this will actually help you. Now, if you are well versed with more than 2 languages, your regional Hindi, apart from that, if you know any foreign language, please put that. That's also valuable. Apart from that, you can add your interest, something that you do at your free time. So maybe you like reading books, you like to paint, things like that, or you like to listen to music, you can add that. And that's how your resume will be made. Okay. If you have any queries, you can please put it in the chat box. Anything if you would like to ask about resume, please feel free to put in the chat box. Post this. We will be moving to interviews. Okay, great. I'm taking that as a no. Now, once your resume gets shortlisted, the next step is interviews. I know interviews can feel scary. Why do they feel scary? I'm sure all of you will relate. The first is fear of rejection, not knowing answers, and being judged. I want to help you understand that an interview is not an interrogation, it's a conversation to check alignment. If your skills or if your vision matches the company's requirement or not. Okay. Now, the first introduction, what you give. If your introduction is confused, the interviewer becomes confused. Okay. It's very important to understand that you don't have to repeat your resume when they say, tell me about yourself, because that's the first standard question, an interviewer will ask. Tell me about yourself. Please do not start repeating your resume. You need to give an introduction which is a bit beyond resume. Please do not start your introduction with myself. It's not right. Please say, I am. My name is. This is the right way. You'll be surprised. A lot of interviewers actually reject candidate because they start with myself. All right. Please say, I am or my name. Okay. Also, one thing, this is something I want to add. Interviewer knows your name. Okay. He's got the resume. Your name is highlighted in bold. So the interviewer also knows that who he is interviewing. Avoid uh, saying your name. You can always say, thank you for this opportunity. And I would like to tell something about myself. I am currently pursuing this. You can start your introduction like this. Okay. Now, there is a framework that I would like to tell all of you when you talk about introduction. Very simple, and you should not be confused. Please tell them the present thing, what you are doing. So, if you are a second year student or a third year student and what you are pursuing, okay, please link the specialization of your subject to what are your professional interests. Move on to that. Say that since I'm pursuing this, I would like to highlight my professional interest. My professional interest is so and so and so. All right. Then you can talk about your personal interest. Okay. And then you can close it with your vision. Where do you see yourself or what you want to do, what you're passionate about? Okay. This is something that you can focus on. Very simple. And it'll be there in your head. You will never be going wrong. So if you've not ever sort of, reflected on this, maybe write down first. Instead of thinking, whatever comes to your head, please write down. And then maybe start practicing in front of the mirror or maybe in front of your teachers. Take feedback, how you can be better because you don't want to sound robotic. You want to sound authentic. That is something you need to do, right? So please work on that. Okay, it should not sound that, oh, you have mugged this introduction. This is your introduction. You shouldn't be required to mug it. If you can't talk about yourself, who's going to talk about you? Little strange, but think on this point because I'm repeating it again and again. So it's something for you to think about. Okay, so please do that. Can we please stop the screen sharing, Pratuli? I'm not sure who's doing this, but if you can just take away these rights. Great. Okay. So, the structure, what I asked you to follow is what are you presently doing? What are your professional interests and goals? And what are your personal interest and goals? And what are your future alignment? This is something you can start with. Okay. Then you will also be experiencing some questions like, tell me about your strengths and tell me about your weaknesses. Okay. So when you talk about your strength, please do not talk about I'm hardworking, I'm disciplined. that is not something you can talk about. That is something which the interviewer will only see when you start working, and they see how everybody will say, I'm disciplined, I'm hardworking, then I think everybody will get hired. That's not a strength. Strength is that I'm good at influencing people, I'm great at communication. So you can talk about that. And then when you say these two strengths, please link it with an example that where you actually implemented. Maybe you can say, you know what, I influenced my group for an academic project to work on something that I was passionate about, right? Maybe you can give that example. I'm great at communication. Maybe you can say that I'm often part of a lot of events where I'm leading the events by doing MC, or I'm conducting these events and I do not have stage fear. So I'm great at communicating. People can relate with me. Things like that. These are some examples I'm giving you. The purpose is when you talk about your strength, please give it with examples. So I'm great at solving problem. It can be anything, but you please give an example how you're great at solving problem. Or I'm very creative. So what were the creative solutions you were able to give? So that is something you can talk about. Now, with respect to what are your weaknesses, please do not say I have no weaknesses. I'm sure everybody's got that. The sensible thing to do in that interview is accept it. Okay, so your weakness can be I am not really get great at managing time. So that's okay, you've highlighted, but please also show that how you're working on that. That is something which the interviewer would like to know. Say that though I'm not great at working on time, but these days I'm using a AI tool which helps me manage my time better in a day. I start my day with using a Google Calendar where I map my day from morning to evening, and I have sectioned it with various tasks and I put a timer on it. So I get a reminder to do that particular task at that time or read that particular subject at that time. Like that, I'm able to manage. And then I also have allotted some free time where I would like to chill and spend some time with my family. That would be a sensible answer to give. Okay. So this is something that you need to keep in mind. Now, another question that you'll experience is, tell me about a leadership role that you've experienced. Now, understanding that you're all freshers, the leadership role would be mostly oriented to your college. Make sure these leadership roles are of academics. Please do not give example of I led a project. That project you will lead and you'll do it anyway because you need marks. If you'll not do it, you'll not get marks. Okay, so that's not an example to showcase. That recruiter will not take it. How you can show the leadership? Maybe you were part of an event, handling an event. If there was a medical, let's say if you're a part of a medical college, there was a botany show or something like that. I was a part of, I led that event. How I led that? You tell them that there were at least 10 people working under me. I had allotted them various tasks. One was responsible for operations, one was responsible for the guest list, one was responsible for the food. So I had made an execution plan. I made sure before the event, I did at least 2 dry runs. And this is what I did. In that experience, I also realized that working with people, they'll come with different point of view. It's very important as a leader to listen to them and make them feel a part of the team. Okay. This is something you need to reflect on. That is what is called leadership quality. In case you have done an internship where you were asked to lead a project, there you can explain that I did get an opportunity in one of the internships where I was leading a project. And this is what I did. That is something that you can add. Okay. This is how you need to do. What were the challenge you faced? Can you tell me of a time you faced a challenge and how did you deal with it? So they want to see that how well do you think on your feet. So if you are faced with a challenge at your workplace, how will you deal with it? And will you come up with some solution or you leave that and run away? That's what also they are trying to see. So reflect on that. So these are a couple of questions that you will get. These are called behavioral questions, okay? Where they're trying to understand you as a person, who you are. Are you a person who's confident and who is a problem solver, who can be dependable, that person can be trusted, or you're someone who give up too quickly? They would not want the latter person in their organization. That's why these questions are asked, okay? Then the next set of questions that you'll generally experience is about the company. do you know anything about the company? That's a standard question, and more than 50% of people will say, yeah, I did read, but I did not read whole. Please do your research before going up to the company. So even if the company is coming to your college, if there is a placement happening in your college, all right, please make sure you are reading the job role and you're reading about the company. Please also look at some latest work that company has done. You should be able to hold a conversation with the recruiter. If the recruiter say, what do you know about the company? Please start with the latest news. You know, lately your company was in the news and this is what you did. And this is something I was really interested and I really liked. That's what authenticity is. If you're really interested in that company, okay, they'll also ask you, why do you want to join this company? Please do not say, oh, because the pay package is really good or the role seems interesting. I'm telling you, you'll be rejected there. Then please don't answer that. Talk about, you can give them answers like, once you do your research, talk about their mission and vision, how you resonate with their mission and vision and the kind of work they are doing, and you also want to do that kind of work or contribute towards the work they are doing. That is one thing you can do. You can also talk about their work culture. You can talk about, maybe your senior was working in that company and you've heard the work culture is great and I would like to be a part of that work culture. That is one example you can give. So these are a couple of things you can talk about. If they say, why do you want to join? They'll ask you, what do you know about this role? Please read the role description. It is there. That's called job description or JD. I'm sure it is shared with all of you. Or if you're applying outside, I'm sure if you would have seen naukri.com or LinkedIn, the job description, please read that. Okay. That will give you a lot of clarity about what you're supposed to do. They may ask you, let's say if you're applied for a financial analyst role, they may say, what do you think financial analysts do? Make sure you know what kind of role or what kind of job responsibility these financial analysts do. That's called being informed. This is not something that, it means that you've done your research. That shows you're serious about that company. Okay, if the company is going to pay you something, it's going to invest that time on you. They also want to see the seriousness, not that you've just casually come and do it and probably this person will leave the job in next 3 months. They don't want to invest in that person. That's why these questions are asked. Okay. Then they may also ask you, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Very typical question. So why they're asking you? Because they want to see if you're going to stick to this company or you're going to leave this company and go. So they want to see if you plan to grow with this company or not. Okay. So you can always tell them that in 5 years, I see myself leading a group of people, helping them with whatever that specific skill you are good at, and again, growing with the company. That is a sensible answer you can give. Okay. So my suggestion is, these are typical questions that I've listed. Please, if you feel the answer is not coming straight to your head right now, please write it down. That's the best way to approach. If you have time, if you're in first year or second year, I think you still have got time to get that kind of an exposure. So please go for it. And the ones who feel who are in third and fourth years, please be a little sensible when you are developing your resume. Make sure you are looking at internships. Please do at least one internship. Very important. You'll be surprised that one internship will hold so much value in your resume. A lot of students say, you know what, I'm not getting the job, not I've got this percentile. It's great. I'm saying degrees are great. It will definitely get you into the room where you need to be interviewed, but it will only get you selected once you have that exposure. That's very important. So these days you need both the degrees as well as your skills and that internship exposure. If you've got the combination, you will definitely crack your dream job. All right. So this is something that I wanted to tell to all of you, that please focus on building your resume. Please take feedback from your professors, from your teachers. They are there to help you and they're there to guide you. Okay. I think that is something, it's just the mindset that you need to set in for yourself. Right. Great. Any questions around interviews? If you would like to ask me, please go ahead and ask me. I would be more than happy to help you out on this. If you have sort of appeared for any interview and you felt that, this is something, uh, I did not go through or I was not able to answer, please feel free to ask. I would be more than happy to help you guys. Okay, Kiran, you are writing communication question mark. I'm sorry, I'm not able to understand. What exactly are you trying out here? Akshata writes, if we didn't get selected in interview, then we will not get apprenticeship. See, my point is interviews are for two ways, Akshata, to understand. One is your internship based interview. That should be easy to get because people who are hiring interns, they generally know that these people do not have any exposure, right? So they are basically undergraduates, okay? So these are generally easy to get, but then a lot of students don't do it. So that is something you need to do. And then there is job interview, right? So the job interview is a different interview because that will give you more money. Internship is stipend based, it is limited. It's for 2 months, 3 months, or maximum 6 months, but not beyond that, right? So that will be less money. So if you want a stability, that's when you get a full-time job. Full-time job means you're working for a longer period. Longer period is minimum 2 to 3 years in one organization, right? So that is something you need to understand. Okay. Okay, Souvik writes, why should we hire you amongst other candidates? Yes, a very important question, Souvik. Thank you for highlighting that. I almost missed it. So yes, this question is also often asked that why should we hire you? Now, let me tell you one thing very important. Most of the students will reply, I am hardworking, I am passionate, and I am dedicated. Okay, please do not say that. It is not making sense. It's a very practical question which an interviewer is asking you. Now, the best way to answer this question is that you need to figure out based on the requirement. Okay, so the requirement, please read the job description. If you need to be smart in answering this question, read the job description. There would be some sort of a requirement. This person should be good in this, this, this. Pick those keywords. Okay, and then you tweak the answer saying that I bring these many skills aligned with the role, and this is a kind of outcome I can give you. The interviewer is trying to ask a practical question. Why should we hire you? What is the sort of outcome you can give me? Obviously, you can not give a tangible outcome. But what you can do is you can highlight those skills and how you have an expertise in those skills. That is when you will catch the attention of the interviewer. Because most of the candidates, I'm telling you, will say, I'm honest, hardworking, disciplined. The interviewer said that the other one also said the same. But what are you going to do? And then when you have already given that answer that these are the skills I bring to the table and this is how I can contribute, you can also say that I'm a initiator. So I like taking initiation to a lot of projects. I am very flexible towards learning and I'll be a great asset to your company. This is something you can close with. This is how it's going to help you to answer this question. Yeah. I hope, Souvik, this helps you. Great. Okay. All right. Any more questions anybody would like to ask? Please feel free because see, Nikhil, the achievement is a very personal, factor. They may ask you. So for you, an achievement can be scoring 90 percentile in your board, or an achievement can be you cracked a hackathon, or it can be a fitness goal that maybe that's something you were able to achieve. So it's a very personal factor, Nikhil. But yes, this can be asked, and this is something that you can be creative in answering this question. Actually, this is a very good question that you can be as creative, where you can also display your skills. Like you are very passionate or you're very disciplined. How do you want to show that you're disciplined? So let's say if there was a fitness goal that you wanted to achieve and you're given this much time, and this is a great achievement for myself, that's a good example to show that you're disciplined. Rather than saying I'm disciplined, this is a good way to show that you're disciplined, because these are also some of the characters that the employer is trying to hire. So employer is not only looking at your skill, he's also looking at this person, who you are as a person, right? Because you'll be spending more than half of your day at office, 9 to 10 hours. We'll be working with them. We'll be working in that organization. They want to hire the right people, right? Darshini, I am not able to understand. What fund are you talking about? Stay fund. I'm not able to understand what is stay fund. Okay, stipend. All right. All right. Okay. The stipend factor, see, stipend depends on company to company. You need to understand. But I always tell students, whenever you're looking at any internship, please look at if you get to do some quality work. Your stipend can go as low as 2 to 3 thousand per month to as high as 25,000 per month. That depends from company to company. But please don't be very specific about money. You've got whole life to earn your money. Okay? Internship should be focused on learning the skill, understanding. So let's say if you come from engineering background and you picked something on AI or machine learning, how can you implement that theoretical knowledge outside? You also need to understand that, right? So that is something that you need to look at. Please don't be too obsessed with money, because post the internship, I'm sure if you're able to do some quality internship, you'll grab a good job and you'll ultimately make it. Okay, but be more focused on the kind of project you can handle. How can we know that the interviewer is interested in hiring me or not? No, you do not need to know that. I think you need to show that you are interested in working with them. They will never show you that. Please, that's a different mindset if you have. You need to show them that you are passionate and interested to in order to work with them. They've got a lot of options. So you should start thinking that how I can show that I'm interested and passionate in working with that company. Yeah. Okay. For what kind of job does a resume help with placement? All kind of job. All kind of job requires a resume. So not specific, Puneet. All kind of jobs actually require resume. So you should definitely have a resume. Okay. What are the skills required for the job? So there are a lot of skills, depend on the kind of job profile you're looking at. Okay. But I want to tell you one thing, that when you are designing your resume, okay, so you can be from a, let's say, finance background. So you should definitely know some tools, like you should be very well versed in working on Excel. So that is something you should know. But in combination to that, you should also know some soft skills. The basic skills, which basically any recruiter is looking at, how do you communicate? That's very important. Okay. If you are good at problem solving, very important. If you are good at working at team, very important. And if you are a quick learner, do you have leadership skills? These are the basic skills what they are looking at. And to combine with that, it's a AI era. There is such a big summit which was happening in Delhi. All right, I'm sure you must be aware about, or you would have read about it. So you can anticipate where the work world is going right now. So you definitely need to be well versed with the AI tools as well, right? And AI is not replacing job. AI is replacing predictable work. So if you can combine with AI, your weightage as a candidate becomes very unique, because AI can never do empathy. AI can never do emotional intelligence. For that, a human is always required. So you need to be smart enough to combine your skills with AI and show that how you can work with AI. So your tools knowledge is also very important. Okay. All right. If they ask career or objective, no, nobody asks career or objective, especially if you are a fresher. They want to know your professional interest. What are your professional interest? Okay. What are you passionate about? So if you're passionate about AI, you can talk about AI. If you're passionate about finance, talk about finance. If you're passionate about digital marketing, please talk about that. So this career objective and all is very traditional. Nobody's asking that anymore. The more interested to know your professional interest. So focus on that. Yeah. Sorry. Discipline in front of interview. I think the discipline and all, uh, it's a very vague line to use. I think dressing right is something that you need to focus on. If you're going for an interview, please dress right. Wear your formals. Just like I can see most of the students out here, they're in their formals. They've joined from various college. This is something which an interviewer would also expect. Please go in formals. That's the best way to create a good impression. If you're trying to say that, how to create that good and firm and disciplined impression, that is one thing that you can do. Yep. Okay. Great. I'm assuming that. Okay, so Mohit, you're asking about the internship company will locate is near our residence or near to college. See, this is very personal choice, Mohit. This is something I'll not be able to help you with. You would have to definitely do that research yourself because in order to work, people also travel 2 to 3 hours. In order to do the internship, people also travel for 1 hour, 2 hour. So that is something is a very personal choice. That is that research you would have to do. Kiran, I've already highlighted in internship, the salary can go as low as 3, 4, 5 to 25, 30. There's no end. The internship objective should be learning and not money focused. Stipend you will definitely get. Yeah. Akshita, the question of how many months or years of internship we have. So there is no years. It's called internship, and it should be one internship should be minimum 2 months. That is something you should focus on. And similarly, do at least 3 internships, 2 months each. That should be the timeline. Yeah. All right, great. I think we are also wrapping up with the time now. I hope the session which I held right now were able to give you some insight with respect to the resume and placements. Please follow the suggestions, and I'm sure this will take you one step closer. And focus on expressing yourself. You should be very confident when you talk about yourself when this question comes in. So please do formulate an answer for that. That's my suggestion for this particular session. So you should be confident enough to do that. And whatever format I've explained you right now, please follow that, and I'm sure you'll be able to crack your interviews. Yeah. All right. Great. Thank you so much. We will be wrapping up now. Thank you and have a great afternoon.